Hey GQ, my name is Matt Leyes. I am an esthetician and the owner of the men's grooming parlor here in Chicago. Today, we're going to be talking about various ways to remove hair on the torso area just in time for summer. The human body grows a ton of hair, and it's pretty much up to you how much that you want to keep and how much you want to get rid of. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation. You can pretty much just trim down to whatever your comfort level is and whatever you're doing for this summer. So why would we remove our body hair? First and foremost is actually just comfort. It's hot to have a full chest full of hair. Another reason, the more hair you have, the more sweat and your body oils will cling to that hair, which then turns into BO. Another reason people might want to remove their body hair is if you've got a ton of chest hair, your shirt isn't gonna really lay very flat. You're not gonna get that smooth, uniform look that a t-shirt would give. We're gonna be covering everything from the pecs, the chest, abdomen, always just a little bit below the belly button to make sure if you're reaching for something on the high shelf, the little hairline doesn't come out of your pants there. Underarms, the cap of the shoulder, and then the full back as well. There's a ton of different ways you can remove the hair from your body. We've got waxing, trimming, shaving. We can go through and you can decide what you think would work best for you and your skin type. With waxing, you're gonna be the smoothest, the longest. One of the greatest benefits of waxing is that we're removing the hair completely by the root. So it's gonna take about 2 full weeks for that root to even form underneath the skin. And then once the hair starts to grow out, it's just like this baby soft little fine fuzz. So, first thing we're gonna do is a thin little layer of sesame oil. Sesame oil is like your skin's own natural oil. This makes sure that the wax floats on top of the skin. What we're gonna be using is a hard wax. This kind of goes on almost like silly putty, and then it firms up like plastic on the skin. This also grabs hairs that grow in more than one direction at a time, AKA like the chest. Gonna get a little edge going here. There we go. And that's starting that. And last little bit. There we go. Oh, and Kenneth, just so you know, that was the worst strip.
Oh,
that one hurts the most. So not everyone is a perfect candidate for waxing. If you're taking some certain medications like Accutane, Differin, Retin-A, your skin's gonna be really, really sensitive and dry, so much so that if we wax, your skin could rip off with the wax. And we don't want that. I would say to know if you're a good candidate for waxing, you pretty much wanna go see a professional. Always best to leave waxing to the professionals, especially if you want it done quickly, easily, and without a lot of screaming. What we're gonna do next is just another thin little layer of that sesame oil and then a nice hot towel. That'll remove any last little bit of stickiness or residue. This hot towel may feel a little extra toasty. Aftercare for the chest wax. The chest is one of the trickiest spots to wax, so it takes a little bit of extra aftercare. So number one, just use dye-free, aroma-free detergent and do a double rinse. Also, one of those shower gloves, like a rough textured shower glove to really get in there, scrub up using almost like an acne face wash as your body wash. The last ingredient there would be to follow up with Tenskin. Tenskin's basically liquid aspirin or pure salicylic acid. You're gonna need all of these steps to ensure a really good result after waxing. A second option for body hair removal is trimming. A lot of my clients come to me, with like a big, full, hairy chest. They're hot, they're sweaty, it's getting a lot of bacteria, it's stinky, but they don't really want to be smooth. They don't want to look like they're in a boy band or something. You can just trim the hair down. You can just thin it out so it's not quite so bulky, so that your shirt will lay flat. Trimming is probably the fastest, quickest, easiest, and lowest cost as well. Tools you need for trimming? Number one is your trimmers, or what are in the industry called edgers. I love the Wall Peanut. I have used this consistently. I've tried all the new fun gadgets and things, and I always come back to this one. You need a little brush, because you need to clean out those trimmers about every 2 passes. If they keep getting gunked up with your hair and you keep going, you're not really cutting anything. So you gotta clear out the trimmers about every other strip. And then number 3, most importantly, you need some newspaper. You're gonna wanna lay newspaper down so that all your trimming falls onto that, then you just crumple it up and throw it away. When starting to trim the chest, we're gonna take those wall clippers, we're gonna use the smallest guard that comes with that. You're gonna wanna trim in the direction the hair grows. So the chest grows in like this, then up like this, and then down over the pecs, and now the stomach grows in like this. A lot of my clients, like they say, oh no, I trimmed my chest once, I hated it, it was so itchy and prickly. So the reason it itches is because when we have that hair shaft, you cut it off here, it's still pretty sharp. And so these sharp little hairs, they poke through your t-shirt. And so like when you're walking around and your shirt's moving, it's wiggling each little hair like that. Quick, easy fix. All you do is after you trim, go ahead, take the hottest shower that you can stand, getting like a little exfoliating glove, and then scrub, scrub, scrub. Really, really exfoliate all the hairs that you just trimmed. That heat will soften the hair. The exfoliation will kind of take that blunted edge and kind of dome it. It almost like rounds it off, so it can't poke through the fabric of your clothing. For the back, there's a ton of different types of hair, and that's gonna kind of depend on how you're gonna remove that. Like say you've got really kind of like fine curly hair, that's gonna be perfect for waxing. And then I got some other clients where they're gonna have about 5 or 6 hairs growing out of each follicle, or active breakouts, or back knee as people call it. You're definitely gonna choose something other than waxing in that instance. I'll be demonstrating how to wax for the full back, and then how to shave your back at home as well. This is a typical hair pattern for back hair. It's basically coming from the outsides in and then going down. And it kind of has this long, downy softness to it. Super, super easy to wax. Okay, just gonna do a little bit of sesame oil. And then basically we're gonna do one good strip down the center, then just knock out each side after that. This is gonna be called a soft wax. This is like what you see in TV and movies. This is the one that uses that paper strip, because all this hair is growing in the same direction. And just like the chest, that one was the worst, so it just gets easier from here on out. I always say the good thing about waxing pain is it's really quick. By the time you say your favorite curse word, it's pretty much done. What I'm gonna be doing next is putting on Ten Skin. It's gonna almost feel like an alcohol-based aftershave, but it dissipates in about 5 seconds or so. As we're looking at TJ's skin, he's the perfect candidate for waxing. Unlike Blake, he's not the best candidate for waxing because of that mild breakout. If you wax on top of that, that's gonna exacerbate that and make it a big problem. Back knee is super common. A lot of people get it. I would recommend that we shave with a blade. Okay guys, so for shaving the back, the easiest is to have a buddy do it for you. But we're not all so lucky to have a buddy that wants to shave our back. So there's this invention, real quick and easy, called the back blade. Honestly, it's like a giant razor blade. This can just go straight on your back and then you pull up this way. And then another way to use it is to grab it from the side and to pull out this way. You're gonna wanna do this if you want a completely smooth look, probably about once every 10 to 12 days or so. You want there to be enough hair, about 1/4 of an inch, so that the razor has something to grab onto to remove. They do sell replacement blades, but in my experience, I have found this blade will last you, I don't know, about a good 10 shaves or so. Once you're done shaving for the back, you're gonna wanna exfoliate. And the best way to do that after shaving your back, whenever you're drying off with a towel, just do a really good floss. It's mostly gonna be the shoulders that could get irritable after shaving, so a good floss across the shoulders, drop it down, good floss across the lower back, and you're gonna be in a great spot there. I've got tons of clients, they've like shaved once, and they're like, oh man, it broke out like crazy, I'll never do it again. And that's a really quick, easy fix. A couple things you wanna keep in mind. Use a brand new razor every single time you shave. Also, it's the prep work. First, you just wanna make sure you take a nice hot shower so that all that hair is nice and softened up. When you're using a razor, either on your face or on your body, if you hear that like noise, like 2 pieces of sandpaper rubbing against each other, that just means that the blade is going halfway in and then snapping the hair the rest of the way off. Now you have this jagged, irregular edge, and that can grow in any weird different direction, usually back into the skin. So if the hair is nice and hot and has some shaving medium, it just glides right through, you don't hear anything. We'll be going over how to trim for the arms. You know, a lot of people will get excessive forearm hair and around the elbows, and you get a ton of long hairs, you guys know this, right at the back of your arm. I always recommend just trimming for the arms versus shaving or waxing. There's something that kind of happens when the arms are completely hairless. There's many clients where after I've waxed their arms, they're like, oh yeah, dude, you were right. Like I feel like a dolphin now. So for trimming for the arms, like always, you just wanna make sure you follow the direction of the hair growth. So instead of kind of going up against your arm, think about going over. Take the clippers nice and gentle over. Things can get a little tricky right here, so just going straight down here works best. And then just make sure you're getting real good up around the bicep there. You're just gonna be using the wall peanut trimmers with that shortest guard, the 1/8 inch. What trimming down the hair for the arms can do just makes putting on sunscreen, lotion, things like that a lot easier. A lot of guys get a lot of really thick, puffy hair right on the forearm. So doing this technique where you just follow the direction of the hair growth, it just knocks down a lot of that bulk there. I'm gonna be showing you how to trim the underarms as well. It's just a little tricky because the hair grows in a couple different directions. I think trimming is the best only because shaving and waxing the underarms, like whenever you're at rest, the underarm folds in on itself. So that skin's all pressed together. It's like ripe for ingrowns and irritation just because as the hair grows in, it's all crunched together. And then when you add to that perspiration, add to that deodorants and antiperspirant, I always just think a nice clean trim is the way to go for underarms. You just wanna follow the direction of the hair growth. Half is gonna grow up and half is gonna grow down. So to get a good stretch for the underarm, you're gonna take your hand, put it in between your back or your shoulder blades, go half up and then half down. This skin's very, very thin and tender, so just be really gentle. You don't wanna press too hard. A couple passes and that's all you're gonna need. All right guys, so you just trimmed the underarms. Underarms can be a little bit tricky because your arms are constantly moving. And so what you're gonna wanna do is take the hottest shower you can stand, really soften up that hair under there, and then use one of these shower gloves to scrub it down, really, really, really exfoliate so that it's not prickly, spiky, or stabbing your underarms there. And it's gonna be nice and easy and clean to go. All right, GQ, thanks so much for coming on in today. As you've seen with all these tips and techniques, trimming and or shaving yourself at home is really pretty simple and easy. All these techniques that I'm talking about, they are prevention and cure. So if you happen to break out, just keep up and stay diligent with your exfoliation and with that ten skin. Thanks so much. My name is Matt Leyes here at my shop, the Men's Grooming Parlor, located in Andersonville in Chicago. If you all do want to try out that waxing, come on and see me, okay? It's mensgroomingparlor.com, and I'll see you soon.